Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I'm going to be showing you my second attempt at making a marking gauge. My first attempt didn't go quite as well as planned. There were a few things I didn't like about it, so I decided to try it again and improve upon it. If you stick around till the end of the video, I'll show you what I didn't like about it and also mention a few things I'd like to change in the future when I make my next one. I'm just going to cut up some pin blanks that I had laying around that, well, I haven't used yet because I haven't turned any pins yet, but hopefully sometime in the future. I need to cut out this hole in the central, and I want to give us the contrasting colors of the different woods. So we'll use the other pin blank to mark where we're going to do it and kind of mock up how I want the gauge to look in its final form. And now we attempt to glue up. I actually did it a little premature, and I should have done another step, but it works out okay. This is also the step that one of the steps that I messed up on my first one, and I'll show exactly where I messed up later. I struggle a little bit with how to clamp this. I guess I need to get one of those, some small square clamps, I guess would work probably the best, but it's still, glue up's probably one of the skills one of the many skills that I need the most improvement on. Let me know if you have any other suggestions for this. As you can see, it's kind of awkward the way I've got it clamped, and it's not that great, and it's also letting it slide a little bit, so I know there's got to be a lot better way. But I'm trying to get the glue cleaned off, and, well, it's not the most beautifully efficient way, but this seems to be working, so hopefully it turns out okay. While the glue's drying, I'll drill a pilot hole for the pin, and I never tried to use a bit this small on the drill press before, but I have to admit it actually worked quite well, and I was pleasantly surprised with it. Just hammer in a small nail that I had handy to use as the pin. And I know there's some debate on whether you should use a pen style marker or a knife style. And I watched several different videos on both different types, and I decided to go with the knife style. So I'm going to use my Dremel to try to shape the pen into as best of a knife blade as I can. And I'll talk about the results of that a little more later in the video after I finish. I will go ahead and say one thing I wish I had did a little different, and I did change later, was making the pin a little bit shorter. It was actually a little too long to work properly. Once dried, I need to drill a pilot hole for the threaded insert. And I must admit here, this also was another place where I messed up on my first attempt at making this marking gauge. and it's going much better this time. So we just screw the threaded insert in, and I actually got these threaded inserts pretty cheap from Temu. I've got a box of like 50 of them for a couple dollars. So if you're interested in it, it's a good value if you don't need super high quality things. Quite a horrible job by the cameraman here, but he'll get better. I would like to replace this plastic contraption with the brass one in the future because it would look 1,000% better. But this is what I had laying around, and it works for demonstration purposes. I'm going to start finishing it with a mixture of boiled linseed oil and beeswax. Again, wonderful camera work, and I do apologize for that, but at least it's sped up so you don't have to sit through it too much. But as you can see, it's really making the grain come out on that walnut and tiger wood. After letting it dry and buffing it and then reapplying and letting it dry and buffing it again, we finally have our final project, and I'll put it on a little piece of walnut here to display it and make it look kind of pretty. But I think it turned out pretty good for my second attempt. I hope my third attempt turns out better. And we will now look at what went wrong with that first attempt, because a couple things did. It wasn't horrible, but one of the main things that I didn't like, as you can see right here, is that the pilot hole was not centered for that insert. It was way off center. You can tell real good there. So I need to work on my centering, obviously. And then here you can see that I used some brad nails to try to hold together my glue up. And as you can imagine, I did not have the pressure set high enough to go through that walnut. And so the brad nails were sticking out by about 1/4 of an inch. And when I tried to hammer them in, all it did was bend them down, of course, which I knew it would. So I had 4 pieces of metal sticking out on the ends, which really didn't look well. So that is why I decided to redo it and make the second one. So hopefully the third one looks good. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to. If you don't, I understand. And be safe wherever you are.